Welcome, dear learners. I am Ankita Lakra from Department of Commerce, Pandit Sundarlal Sharma, Open University, Chhattisgarh, Bilaspur. In our discussion today, we begin Unit 2, a critical exploration of how businesses orient themselves in the market and, just as importantly, what their responsibilities are to the society they operate in. This lecture is divided into two parts. In first part, we will be examining two fundamental strategies that shape a company's entire operation: the product oriented approach and the consumer oriented approach. Then, in the second part, we will be transitioning from this strategic viewpoint to an ethical one, analyzing the rise of consumerism, the legal frameworks like the Consumer Protection Act that emerged in response, and the broad spectrum of business responsibilities. By the end of this lecture, you should be able to achieve several key learning outcomes. First, you will be able to clearly understand the two different approaches a business can adopt, that is, being product focused versus consumer focused. Second, you will be able to study the merits or the advantages of each of these strategies. We will then study the Consumer Protection Act of 2019, looking at its key features and purpose. Finally, you will be able to understand the broad responsibilities of a business which extend far beyond just making a profit. To begin, business fundamentally have to decide where their strategy focus lies. This decision leads to two primary strategies. The first is the product oriented business. This type of company focuses on the product itself, placing its emphasis on creating the best possible features, ensuring high quality, and driving innovation. The core belief here is that a superior product will, by its own merit, attract customers. In sharp contrast, a consumer oriented business takes the opposite view. It prioritizes understanding and catering to consumer needs, preferences, and expectations. This approach starts not with the product but with the customer. In this analysis, we will explore both of these approaches in detail, looking at real world examples of companies that follow each path. Let's delve deeper in the product oriented business. This strategy is built on a central belief that the quality features and innovation of its product are what will ultimately win in the market. The guiding philosophy is almost if you build it, they will come. This is a strong assumption that consumer demand will simply follow the creation of a superior product. Because the focus is so intently on the product, businesses that follow this model must invest heavily in research and development, manufacturing, and continuous technological advancements. The goal is to create something that is probably better, faster, or more advanced than anything else available. This approach leads to some very distinct characteristics. First, we have noted is an intense focus on product features and quality. These businesses work to create superior products, believing these factors alone will draw customers. Now, this leads to a second very interesting characteristics. Often these businesses conduct limited market research. This might sound risky, but why would a company do this? A verbal question, but the answer lies on its core belief. If you truly believe your product's inherent value will automatically appeal to consumers, you may spend less time asking consumers what they want and more time in lab building what you believe they need. Finally, this all ties to an emphasis on technological innovation. The primary way to compete is to be the technology leader, to stay ahead of the competition by constantly advancing. A classic example of a product oriented business is Apple Inc. Apple is world renowned for its relentless focus on product innovation, quality, and especially design. Think about the launch of the original iPhone or the iPad or the MacBook. These products defined new categories. Apple is often seen as a product oriented company because it emphasizes product development first, operating on the assumption that customer will be naturally attracted to its cutting edge technology and premium quality. They often creates need that customer didn't even know they had. Another strong example is Tesla Inc. Tesla has concentrated its effort on a singular mission, developing and manufacturing high quality electric vehicles. The company's identity is built on its advanced technology, its sleek and unique design, and its incredible performance. This intense product centric approach allowed Tesla to create an entirely unique market niche where one barely existed. In doing so, it successfully attracted a specific customer base, those who are environmentally conscious, but also those who are simply interested in cutting edge automotive technology. Now, let's rotate to the second strategy, the consumer oriented business. This is also known as a customer oriented or market oriented business. Here, the entire strategic framework is flipped. This approach puts the needs, preferences, and expectation of customers at the absolute core of its strategy. Instead of investing firstly in R&D labs, these businesses invest significant time and resources in understanding their target market. They are obsessed with identify customer pain points. What problem do our customer have, and then developing products and services specifically to solve those problems. The ultimate goal here is not just a single sale but long-term customer satisfaction, engagement and loyalty. This customer first mindset creates a very different set of corporate characteristics. First, the primary focus is on consumer needs and preferences. This is achieved through extensive market research and gathering customer feedback. This data is not afterthought, it is the foundation upon which products are built and strategies are formed. This reliance on feedback make these businesses highly adaptable. A consumer oriented business must be agile, able to quickly respond to changes in consumer behavior and new market trends. Finally, there is a deep emphasis on the customer experience. This means prioritizing an exceptional experience throughout the entire customer journey from the moment they first hear about the product to the purchase process and critically to the after sale support they receive. The most prominent example of consumer oriented business is Amazon.com. Amazon's success was not built on inventing a new product but on perfecting the process of buying. The company's entire empire is built on understanding customer needs and preferences. What do customer wants? The text tell us a vast selection of products, competitive price and exceptional customer service. Think about their innovations. An innovation like Amazon Prime was not a new product in the traditional sense. It was a service designed to solve customer pain points related to shipping cost and delivery times. Amazon continuously innovates its services to cater specifically to all the evolving demands of its customers. Another excellent example is the Coca Cola Company. While their core product is iconic, their strategy is deeply consumer oriented. The company invests heavily in market research and advertising. Their goal is to understand what their customers value, what trends are emerging, and how to develop products that resonate with them on an emotional level. This is why Coca Cola has dramatically expanded its product portfolio. They recognized that consumer preferences were shifting away from sugary soft drinks. In response, they now offer a massive range of beverages, including water, juices, sports drinks, and low sugar options, all to cater to diverse consumer preferences. On screen, you can see product orientation. Look at the input. Product features like self cleaning, safety, product innovation like ideation, value creation, and product quality like reliability, functionality. These are all internal factors. The business built these and pushes them out of the market. On the other side, you see customer orientation. Look at its input. Customer needs, perceptions, preferences, expectations, and satisfaction level. These are all external factors. The business studies these factors first and then uses them as the blueprint to create its products. These two models represent fundamentally different starting points for a business strategy. So, let's briefly recap this first major section. We have examined two competing philosophies. The product oriented approach is internally focused. It relies on R&D and technology, believing a superior product will create its own demand. Think of Apple's innovation and Tesla's technology. The consumer oriented approach is externally focused. It relies on market research and adaptability, believing that deeply understanding customer needs is the only way to win their loyalty. Think of Amazon's customer service or Coca Cola diverse portfolio. This brings us to a critical question. Must a business choose only one? That question leads us directly to our next section, balancing product and consumer orientation. As you might guess, in the modern economy, relying exclusively on one of these strategies is highly risky. A pure product focus can lead to creating technology brilliant products that nobody actually wants to buy. A pure consumer focus can lead to a company only making small, safe changes and getting left behind by a major innovative leap. Therefore, businesses must find the right balance between the two. This balance is essential for achieving long term success and staying competitive. The most successful companies today operate on a hybrid model. They use a combination of approaches to develop high quality innovative products, that's the product oriented side, while also ensuring those products are catering to the real needs and preferences of their customers, that's the consumer oriented side. So, how does a company practically achieve this balance? The text outlines several key strategies. The first is to conduct regular market research. This is the core of the consumer oriented approach, but it is used here to guide the product oriented side. This research keeps the company informed about shifting consumer needs and market trends. This data is then fed to the R&D teams to ensure that the innovative product they are building will actually be relevant and appealing to the target market. The second strategy is to involve customers directly in the product development process. This is a very powerful technique. This can be done through surveys, focus groups, or in the tech world, extensive beta testing. This approach gives the company valuable insight and feedback while the product is still being designed, not after it's already finished. This helps ensure the final product genuinely addresses customers' needs and expectations. The third strategy is about the internal environment. A company must foster a customer centric culture. This means that everyone in the organization, from engineers to marketers to support staff, is encouraged to prioritize customer satisfaction. With the entire company is focused on the customer, it naturally leads to better customer service and, as a result, increased brand loyalty. Finally, the fourth strategy brings it all together. Continuous innovate and improve. A business cannot just listen, it must also act. It must continue to invest in research and development to adapt and stay ahead of competitors by focusing on both product innovation and customer needs. The company can find that perfect, powerful balance. To recap this second session, we have established that while the product oriented and consumer oriented approaches seem different, they each have their own strengths and weaknesses. The key takeaway is that the most successful businesses find a way to combine these strategies. This balanced hybrid approach allows them to achieve two goals at once. First, to create high quality innovative product, and second, to ensure those products address the real needs and preferences of their customers. By focusing on both product development and customer satisfaction, businesses can stay competitive and, most importantly, build lasting relationships with their customers. We will continue the next part of this lecture, in which we will cover the concept of consumerism, the legal framework Consumer Protection Act 2019, in which we will discuss consumer dispute redressal commissions addressing modern issues, and lastly, the five key business responsibilities.